Hi, it's Kylie. Welcome to my studio. So today I'm going to be working with these metallic acrylic colours that I recently reviewed, and I'll leave a link to that video above, below and at the end. I still have another video to show you from that session where I was gel printing. I will get round to showing that soon. But keep watching, keep listening if you would be interested in winning a set of these paints. I'll be saying more about that during the course of this video, and of course there will be information below. Now what I'm going to do today is just to work on a number of ATCs, that's artist trading cards, that measure 2.5 inches by 3 inches, and I'm just going to be using these paints and nothing else. So the first set I'm going to use my gel plate just to help me create the backgrounds. But before I do anything, I'm going to my Arteza sketchbook where I did the swatches of the paints, and I'm going to start to pick some colours out for my background. So just looking at what I might use, I want to use something kind of pink and green here. So I have Pearl Sage and Pearl Pink, and I'm just going to put those down as my first layer. I'm just going to put a little drop down. My gel plate is fairly clean. I'd cleaned it off before this, so it will take a couple of goes just to get it started. Whenever a gel plate's clean and you're using thin layers of paint, you do need to sometimes it's almost priming it to getting it going. So just using the brayer to get a very thin layer, and then I'll add some pink as well, just some pink spots. Now I actually did 3 different styles of card today, but I got carried away playing with these paints and there was just too much footage to put into a video. So I'm just going to focus on the one style of card here, but I will show you the 3 different types that I made at the end. So of course you don't need a gel plate to use these paints. This was just a way that I wanted to create the background for one of the cards that I was going to do. So I've got my cards. I actually just put 6 cards down because there's no point in having the paint on there and not using it. So just laying my 6 cards out, and I know that for this first lift I'll only get a small amount. As I say, I'm using very thin layers here because I want to build the different colours up. And I'll just use a piece of paper across the top just to lean down on that, press on that, and it's simply one that I gel printed on last time. So there we go, lifting it up, and you'll see just little hints of the pink and the green there. So once I've got them all up, I take this pistachio and I'm going to do something similar. Now there is still some paint down on there. It's quite hot in my studio today, so the paint was drying quite quickly, especially since I was doing thin layers. But I've got some pistachio down there, and I'm just going to use the brayer to roll that out again. And again, a reasonably thin layer going down here. And once more, I'm going to lay my cards out and onto it. Again, I'll just use that sheet of paper, just pressing them down. And this time I've got far more on it, and in fact you'll see 1 or 2 little specks there. That's from the last time that I used a gel plate, and it just, when I've cleaned it, they've not lifted all of that off. I don't mind that kind of thing. For me, that just adds interest. But I'm certainly pleased with the way that they're turning out this time. So I'm now taking some rose quartz. And again, I'm just going to put some of this on the plate, all about building up colour. And later on, you'll see that I use the paints direct. I don't use them on the gel plate. And, they work beautifully both ways. So just smoothing that out a little. Not looking for an even layer there. Just putting a little bit more on though. but I'm looking for this to go onto my cards in a slightly uneven way. So you'll see there are pieces where it's just that little bit darker. And again, I will put all of these down and onto the plate. Firming them down, and there we have it. Lots of luscious colour going onto these, and I love it. The paper I'm using, these were pre-cut cards. It is slightly textured, and the paint has a nice feel on it. It grips the paper really well. So Arteza have kindly offered one of these sets free to one of my subscribers, and all you need to do is obviously be a subscriber of my channel, hit the like button for this video and leave a comment below. Say that you want to be entered for the draw. I'm also leaving a link below to an Arteza video that shows these paints being used, so go across there, like that video, leave a comment in the video, and also subscribe to the Arteza channel. Now it's only open to those to where Arteza actually deliver to. So that's the UK and the countries of the European Union and the United States. Unfortunately, at this point in time, they don't ship worldwide, though hopefully in the future they will do. So let's get on with these cards. I've very lightly sketched a sort of daisy design on these, and what I'm going to do is to get some other colours and start to paint these. So here I'm starting with canary yellow, and this will be that centre bit of the daisy. I want these to be nice and bright, although I've kept the background kind of pastel colours, I guess. I want to make these much brighter. So I'm going to do a couple of layers. I'm keeping it quite thin at the moment, but I will build it up in layers because I want to build texture. So I've done the 3, and I'm now taking this hot pink. I want this to be very vibrant, so I'm going to use the hot pink for the petals. And I'm just using a small brush here, and I'm just actually going to allow the brush to really make the shape of the petals. I know roughly where I want them to be, so although I've got some lines there, I'm not actually trying to paint in the lines. That was just a guide for me. And just using that, pushing the brush down a little bit more just to thicken the petal where I want it. So using the brush very much to define the shape of the petals. And I'm going to do that on all 3 of my daisies. You'll see always going from the outside to the inside so that I'm keeping them kind of uniform. And you see that I'm not smoothing the paint out. I'm allowing there to be an edge on the paint, which helps create the depth in the petals. Just going over it a little bit there. And you see I've done the 3. So now taking tangerine orange. And what I want to do now is just to add a little bit more colour to the centre of the daisies. So this would give the effect of there being a little bit of shade in places. And again, this helps give the notion of depth. And there we have the 3. So now taking this space grey, and this is a lovely, lovely grey colour. I really like this. And I'm just using a very small amount just to put in my stems. And I put it on all 3, and I do go over them just to thicken them up a little bit. Keeping it as narrow as my paintbrush will allow me to do. Now at this point I'm going to go back over my petals with that hot pink. And again, just using a very similar technique to the first time I did them. And again, allowing that paint to stand up along the edge just to create texture. It's really quite thick in places, so I need to be careful that I don't smudge it. Now I'm taking this Pearl Lilac, and what I want to do is to add a little bit of this to the petals, and what I'm doing this time is just to add a little bit of what might look like light hitting the petals. Just dab it on there, and then you'll see I kind of smooth it out just a little bit more, blend it out just a little bit more, not looking to blend it with the pink, but just to give those little highlights. And again, I will do that on all three of the flowers. And again, keeping that quite thick so you can actually see the texture within that too. Adding a bit more yellow, dabbing it on a bit there. Because of this, of course, the centre of the daisies is very textured, so getting that notion of texture into the centres of them. So I want to create just a little bit of interest down the bottom, so just using the colours, the lilac and the hot pink that are left on my palette, and just dabbing them on, just giving the impression of there being something there and in the background. And you can see the light hitting the different colours. Now just taking a bit more of that tangerine orange, always just building the layers up bit by bit. It's the way that I like to work with acrylics. Some people will go in and just paint the area that they want. I like to go in, put one layer on, then go back and put another on. And for me, that's the way that I get texture into my work. Now taking this sage green, and I'm just going to add some tiny little bits of green at the bottom. Again, just introducing that as a colour. I've of course had some greens in the background, although albeit they're very light, but this just brings in a little hint of green as well. And just gives a suggestion of there being more plants in the background. So just tiny little dots here and there. And again, keeping the paint quite thick just as it goes down. Now taking some of this marmalade, and this is a gorgeous colour, and I'm just going to use the very tip of my brush just to make some tiny little dots on the centre of the flowers. Again, when you think about the different types of daisies, they all have that very textured head and those little bits across the centre. Not filling it here, although that could be done. I'm just giving the hint of them there. And I'm really liking the way that that's turned out. Now I'm just taking more of the space grey, and I'm just going to do a little bit. I'm not going to do a full outline as such, but I am just going to start to add some little bits in. Again, this just helps create some depth. It just helps frame those kind of focal images. Now I decided I needed a little bit more in the background, so I'm going to take this pearl white, that little bit of punchinella, and I'm just going to rub the pearl white through it with my finger. Now I could have stenciled it on and I'd get a nice smooth finish, but again I wanted texture. So when I put this in, it will catch the edges of the punchinella, and again it will be quite raised. And I like the effect that that gives. I'm just going to do that on a few different areas of the card. And what's interesting is because I'm applying it this way, the centre of it is still staying fairly clear, so you see the colour below right through that. So here's the 3 cards that I did, and I'm now just taking this basic generic pen just to do really a little border around the edges of my ATCs. I just always like to finish them that way. So I have the one with the daisies, I have one in the middle which is just an abstract, and I used some pieces of collage that I done with these paints previously on the gel plate. And the third one, this bird, was a stamped image. I just stamped it using the space grey and then just used electric blue and the hot pink to get the colours on the inside. As I say, it would have made it a very long video if I'd shown all 3. I do have the footage, and maybe at some point I'll put it together to show the others. So, as I say, if you're interested in entering the draw, then do let me know below. If you're not, but you are interested in these paints or other Arteza products, then I do have a discount code, and it's detailed below along with links. I am an affiliate, so it does mean that I earn a small commission at no extra cost to you. That's open until the 10th of August. Now I'll use a random drawer to pick a winner, and I'm going to announce the winner on Monday 10th of August. So please, if you want to enter, do let me know in the comments below by midnight on Sunday the 9th of August. And that's midnight UK time, and then I'll pick the winner first thing the following morning. So full details below, as I said already. So I hope you enjoyed watching me create this artist trading card with these Arteza metallic acrylics. They are lovely paints to work with. I thoroughly enjoyed working with them, and the range of colours in this set is absolutely superb. There are smaller sets available, you know, so if you wanted a smaller range of colours, they are also available, and you can still use the links below to then get on to the full Arteza site. There's separate links for US and UK and Europe. So as always, thanks so much for watching. Please stay safe, take care, and I hope to see you again next time. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.